Welcome back, Washed Up Walkons fans. Another episode of the podcast. This one is number 80, but this number 80 is a little bit of a trip because this number 80 has made it so that I'm the first human being to ever time travel. I tell you that I time traveled because Kluwer, Kevin, and I just got done recording episode 80 with Steve Manders. We went for a good hour and 15 minutes. Had a great conversation, but that episode isn't going to get released until Thursday, Kluver tells me. So it's as if it never even happened, but since that was episode 80 for an hour and 15 minutes, and now this is about to be episode 80,
Yep.
I just went back in time, people, and that's pretty fucking cool, okay? We have a great podcast. We're funny. We're informative, we have fun guests, and now we can time travel. So just letting you know we're really important, and here's episode 80 2.0. Go.
Yeah, 80. Messed that one up. We did just record with the one and only Steve Manders. Yes, that is who you are going to hear on Thursday. You guys are hearing this on probably a Monday or Tuesday, 90% of you. In a couple days, you'll get to hear from one of our good buddies and former teammate, a Hawkeye brother, Steve Manders, who now is fully immersed into the world of pro wrestling. And I'm so excited for you guys to listen to that episode.
Don't turn it off. You're going to learn a lot of lessons about how to be a gritty human being and how to get yourself through tough times.
If you want to hear some really inspiring stuff, from topics on betting on yourself, putting in work when no one even asks you to, just absolutely grinding away at your passion and what you love to do and it paying off.
Even when the people who you love doubt you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a true underdog story that our guy Steve is living, and you guys are going to get to hear about it in a couple days. Super excited for that. Similar to Miguel, and mostly because we haven't caught up with Manders for a long time. We talked for 70 minutes. We probably could have gone for a couple hours. So, man, that was fun. But again, it's Drake and I. Kevin really wasn't a part of the Steve episode. He was there for 45 minutes, but he was basically packing during the entire episode for a trip. Kevin is probably on the drive right now to the airport. He probably just got to the airport. He's wheels up in like an hour and a half to go to some bigger city and do more
with
business.
Some more important people,
right?
And talk medical,
right? So good for him. It's like the Drake and Tyler show for number 4, number 5.
That's right, because you guys just had the Drake and Kevin. Because I was, the
Tyler and Kevin.
Man, my intros. Oh yeah, the Tyler and Kevin. Sorry, my intro is not even gonna be funny now to episode 80.1 because they're gonna hear it on Thursday, and now I'm back. Well, guess what, fuckers? I'm back 2.0.
He is back. Yeah. So I'll give a caveat. I'll put in a little caveat on the 80. On Manders episode so they understand what's going on. But yeah, here we are. It's Drake and Tyler. We are going to talk a couple current events / topics of conversation, Hawkeye related. We're going to try and bring you as much Hawkeye stuff as possible. We had a few Hawkeyes play in the playoffs yesterday, being Saturday the 11th. It is now the 12th. We're about 5 hours away from the 2 games today, this fine Sunday.
What is this weekend of football like? Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday? I mean, for a football junkie,
yeah,
this is my heroin.
It's one of, if not the best weekends in football as far as good football goes. We get to watch the what's the quarterfinals of the NFL. It's I'm not even sure what it's called, the divisional round or what?
Yeah, it's just the divisional round.
Okay, and then
not the wild card and not the championship.
Right, so it's the divisional round. We got to watch. We'll get into it. First off, want to say thank you for guys for listening. I want to say thank you to those who have become patrons of our Patreon page, and we haven't even released the full tier system where you guys are going to get rewards and you're going to be given back to from us. We want to give back as much as possible. I am probably going to next week, one of our episodes may be just me explaining the full Patreon tier system to you guys in a podcast episode, so you guys understand kind of what we're busting out to you guys. Now, what's exciting about that is for a very small monthly subscription, at least in my eyes, and I hopefully in your eyes, we are going to be giving, the Wash Up Walk-Ons are going to be giving you guys a whole lot more of us, a whole lot more access, and some pretty cool stuff in regards to what you get with our podcast that we've been working on for a while.
You can come hang out with us on the internet and talk shit, because I know a lot of you guys like to tweet at the Wash Up Walk-Ons account.
Yep.
So we're here to talk some shit.
So one of those things, if you subscribe, I'll leak it a little bit. One of those perks is going to be, if you are one of the top tier subscribers, you will have access to a at least bi-monthly, every other month hangout where we bring you into our Zoom meeting room.
If they got to do a monthly subscription, it should probably be monthly. You know,
well, if you would have read the entire tier system.
Yeah, I don't read your important shit. When you say it's important, I just know you did it right, and I skipped past it.
So it's going to be at least bi-monthly on the meetings, on the Zoom meetings. You guys are going to get to come in. We're going to set a time on Sundays. Sunday is probably the day that most people have the most free. If you're a part of that third tier, you're going to get a code sent to your Patreon account that gives you access to come and literally hang out with us for 30 to 60 minutes on a Sunday. And it'll literally be like a live podcast that never gets released. We're not going to record it. You guys will be able to chat. I don't even know if you know this, Drake, but the chat is down at the bottom there. You can click chat. It comes up on the side. They're going to be able to ask questions live, and we'll just be hanging out. We'll maybe watch some TV while we do it. Some sports,
or a sporting event, maybe. Like if Hawkeye basketball is on, we could kick back and watch Hawkeye basketball.
So that's gonna be one of the many perks that are coming. The other huge part of this was the merchandise store. Part of this tier system is you're gonna get percentage off our regular merchandise if you're a part of one of the tiers, and we can't really make that a thing until we have a merchandise store to buy from. Well, guess what? Last week, the Hawks by a Million t-shirt orders were placed. The first large stock quantity of the permanent merchandise store. The Washed Up Walk-Ons permanent merch store that we've been talking about for what feels like 4 years now is going to be live this week, and we're super excited about it. I don't think it'll be live today, Monday, or maybe Tuesday when you're listening to this, but by Friday, you'll be able to go on there like any other website and buy a t-shirt, and you don't have to wait for a 2-week period where all the orders come in and then everything gets made. It just gets shipped to you in 2 or 3 days like a normal online purchase, and we're super excited about that. The Patreon subscriptions, that money that we get from you subscribers, is going to help us grow that store so that we have more money to stock more items. It's one big cycle. We're all a big family. Help us out in this venture that we've gone into. So that's kind of that. Brings us to the topics of the day, which is this past week, one of the 3 juniors for Iowa has announced his decision. Junior safety Geno Stone announced that he's declaring for the NFL draft. He's going to forego his senior season at the University of Iowa, and we're going to talk about it. I think it came out last Thursday or Wednesday. What were your initial thoughts, Drake, on Gino leaving for the draft? I know we kind of talked about this already, but what do you think?
I was just surprised. He was the one that I thought was going to stay, but I didn't know what his draft grade was, and obviously he got a draft grade back that he liked, and I mean, super good for him. It kind of sucks for the Hawks because he's a really good player, and he's a great quarterback back there, and he's an enforcer, and he plays with a heart that you can't really measure. So it sucks that the Hawks lose a guy like that, but we've lost a guy like that before. Lomax played the exact same way, and when he graduated, it was a tough guy to replace. But
Lost Hook last year.
We lost Hook last year. We've got Phil Parker, though, and that's the X factor. So as long as Phil is still in the black and gold,
Yep.
Losing DBs is not that big of an issue.
I ain't worried about it either. But I was surprised as well. Like you said, of the three, he's the other two are clear, like first round, if not guaranteed second round picks. With Gino, and I don't want to – it's hard to speak on this because as a former teammate and just a Hawkeye brother in general, I don't want to who am I to speak on somebody else's life, right? Who are us to tell him if that's the right or wrong decision? And that's not what we're here to do. I did think, though, that I think that he could have definitely increased his stock by coming back to the Hawks. He's an NFL player, no doubt. I think he'll get drafted fine. I think he'll when he gets into a camp, he's a Hawkeye. He's that same story. Once a Hawkeye gets a chance to show what they can do, they're going to come out on top. The cream rises to the top. Geno Stone will be fine, and he's going to go get that bag. I mean, that's what it's all about. Like, part of it is come back for that senior season. You might not even make it to your senior season. How many people get hurt in the offseason when you go through those trainings, those workouts again? It's really hard to turn down any amount of money, even if you're not getting a huge signing bonus and you're not going to sign a huge contract after your first few years. It's hard to just say, like, well, I could go take $500, $600, $700 a year right now, or I could delay that 1 year and potentially jeopardize that opportunity by getting hurt in my last year of college football. It's just so hard to go against that.
Speaking of bag, so I was on LSU Instagram this morning taking a dump, and
wow.
Which is where you do all your Instagramming, obviously.
Sure.
And I think that the LSU players as well as the LSU media team are incriminating themselves on paying the player scandals, because I don't know if this whole paying the players deal is just like you can hand guys enough cash to purchase Louis Vuitton luggage, backpacks, designer clothes, designer and resale sneakers. I mean, these guys are decked from head to toe on their Instagrams in the most expensive shit that I know I absolutely could not have afforded in college.
No.
And I did not see many of our teammates walking around with in college. So
None.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
It's a good point. I don't know where they get the money for that. I'll say this. This could be a whole nother episode that we've never really gone into. I'm not even sure. I mean, it can't be illegal to talk about. We're out of the program now. You get a scholarship check. If you're smart, maybe half of that is going to your living situation and any food that you don't eat at the complex each month. If they're saving up that other half, I guess probably not the smartest financial decisions that they're making, but it's potentially the scenario. But back to Gino, here's my worry, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this. Our man Hook did the same thing last year. Hook won the defensive back of the year in the Big Ten, kind of a theme that we have going on over the past decade. Again, Phil Parker, GOAT.
The X factor, man.
I don't think that Gino this year is as an appealing of a prospect as Amani was coming out last year. And Amani fell to the 5th round. Oh, my watch is trying to talk to me. I don't know if you agree with that or not. In my head, DB specifically, there's a lot of defensive backs, and there's a lot of switching around. Amani could play, you can play that kind of nickel position, safety, strong safety. Some guys switch into corner or out of corner into safety in the NFL. So it's just a large group, a large pool of players, especially from this level to the next level. I worry for my man, Gino, that not because of a lack of talent, but just because there's so many other talented players, is there any way he gets lost in the sea of talent and like slips and like it ends up not being worth it coming out. That's my only fear. I don't think if I had to put money down that that's what would happen. And it's probably a little bit of like, fuck, I wanted him to stay and play for the black and gold one more year. But I think that Tristan and AJ, and they still haven't made their decisions yet, if they come out, they're for sure guaranteed. But maybe him making the decision is him kind of like not telling everyone, but telling everyone like, yo, I got that good of a grade from the NFL draft advisory. And that's just the case. Like, I'm a pretty for sure player too. I don't know. That's my thoughts on it.
I hope he does well, man.
I do too. I mean, I hope he goes and just absolutely balls out. His predecessor, Amani Hooker, yesterday, what we're going to get into right now is, I
mean, he's playing in a championship game soon.
He's
only been a part of taking down the greatest football player to ever play and this year's runaway MVP. So
what the Titans have done and just did last night, pretty insane. Derrick Henry is playing like the Alabama Derrick Henry that he was.
He just set an NFL record by an absolute mile last night.
He's an absolute alien is what he is. He just is built
He's a predator, bro. He off the Alien vs. Predator movie, he is the predator.
Yep. And the Titans are hotter than the fucking sun right now. Yep. And so
we don't want to play Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans right now.
So they're going to get, and I'll say this, at first in my head, I was like, man, the Chiefs or the Texans are happy right now. Like, they're happy as hell. They don't have to go play Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. I don't know if they are happy. Like, you don't want to run into that Titan sword right now.
Well, they are happy because this morning I texted Ben Neiman big truss in all caps, and he was very thrilled by that. So the fact that you get Lamar Jackson out of the playoffs, it's a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal. What else were we going to talk about? So the other game that happened, the Titans-Ravens game was the late game. The early game of the day was the
Niner gang. Bang.
Yeah, our guy, George Kittle, the 49ers versus the Vikings, who played super hot. I know you had some skin in the game on this one. Because you made a little bet on the on that line with like a prop bet with somebody else. And the Niners, I mean, two different stories in this Ravens-Niners having a week off game. The Ravens almost look rusty.
The Ravens look terrible.
Yeah, the Ravens looked rusty and looked like they didn't take advantage of the bye week, whereas the Niners out in San Francisco, they look rested. They looked crisp. Jimmy G was on. Everybody was on. George was blocking the shit out of people. I mean, they just look very hard to beat, and they basically handled the Vikes.
My mom just needled me. I texted her my parlay because she's interested in my bets, just because she likes to, if she's going to watch the game, she likes to have a little sweat too, like the degenerates we are. And so I texted her my parlay, and she didn't say anything until this morning, and she just texted me, the Ravens messed you up.
Wow.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hilarious.
Mom, thanks for that.
That's incredible. Mother Kulik there. It's so fun to watch George and the 49ers play. And like I said, completely different games. The Niners, it is absolutely wild, that last play with the Seahawks, how that could have changed the absolute landscape of that side of the playoffs. The Niners are a 1 seed with a bye, and we're 3 inches away from being the 5 seed, having to play the Vikings in the first game just to go and play Seattle, probably.
No, I think they would have been the 3 seed. San Francisco would have been the 3 seed.
Oh, I thought someone said they would have been the 5 seed. It would have completely changed the landscape.
But it would have changed, yeah.
It was wild. And so that's kind of what happened in the NFL yesterday. More games to come today. Green Bay is going to take on
where are we sitting with that? What are you thinking? You think Green Bay in Lambeau is good for 4 points, or you think Russ can cover 4? Because I'm thinking, because I had Russ covering 4 and Deshaun covering 10. So I had Baltimore was the only favorite that I thought was going to cover.
I think the Texans cover 10.
Texans can cover 10.
I don't think that Russ goes into Green Bay and covers 4.
You don't?
I tend to really side with Midwest teams at home in the playoffs. Lambeau, it's just that environment. It's Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. Like, I don't know. That's my feeling on it. I think the Texans definitely cover. I think that Texans-Chiefs game is going to be tight down to the end.
It's just Deshaun Watson knows how to make a tight game. He just does.
And it's going to be exciting as hell to watch. The other news in the Hawkeye world that I kind of skipped over real quick, nothing major, but kind of goes with what we talked about last week in the Deuce Hogan episode and where we talked about all those quarterbacks. Well, add one to that list that we kind of rattled off. Peyton Mansell, the quarterback commit of the 20 – I already forgot. 16? I said it last week. 16 or 17 class.
16 because we were the 17.
Yep. He entered the transfer portal and he had it all figured out ahead of time. Obviously, he very quickly announced that he was going to be transferring to Abilene Christian University. Peyton was an incredible dude, great dude, played hard on the scout team. The one knock on him is he thought he could kick a football and he couldn't. He thought he was way better at kicking a football than he was. But great dude. Highly expect him to succeed at Abilene Christian, but another one of those situations where Petrus was obviously the clear number one. Mansell was older than Petrus, and so felt like he wasn't going to get a shot, and so he goes and transfers and takes a chance at another university. We wish him all the best. So now that leaves Iowa and the Hawk Nation with 3 quarterbacks on the roster. I think you've got Petrus. I think that moves Alex Padilla up into the second string. And then scholarship-wise, Deuce Hogan in the fall, which I was corrected. He's not coming in at semester. He'll be coming in this fall. Deuce Hogan will be the third string quarterback. At least scholarship-wise, those are our 3 guys that are on scholarship. And so Petrus is the guy, really. And that should be interesting. Yeah, and it's going to be
is the guy.
And it's interesting. I can't wait to see what spring ball looks like and how they look there. I don't know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be scary. It's like
definitely anxiety going into the 2020 season as a Hawk fan.
Absolutely. But he could not have a better group of skill guys around him to really buff him up and kind of help him out. I'm excited. Another quarterback Iowa topic that's gotten me excited is watching Nate Stanley throw some passes in training. He's posted some stuff to his Instagram.
Dude is ripping the laces off.
Oh, he's just looking crisp as hell.
That fucking arm looks like a rocket launcher right now.
He threw like a 45 or 50-yard deep ball on Instagram yesterday. It still might be there on this Sunday. That just dropped in like a missile, and just he's looking good.
His 5-step with no hitch
insane.
out to the corners is porn.
It's insane. Man, it's fun to watch him. I can't wait for his pro day. I can't wait to get him on the podcast. He is.
We got him. I texted him. I was texting him, and he said that he was going to be traveling around to different quarterback coaches for a couple weeks. But when he was back in Iowa City, he was more than happy to do it. So we've got the biggest dick gunslinger in the draft on his way to the podcast soon.
Yep, Nate Stanley will be hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We can get him on, and I know that Hawkeye Nation is going to tune in for that. I expect higher listen numbers for that one.
You got to. I mean, the whole state of Iowa has to flock to this one.
And Minnesota. Menominee is going to go. Everyone's going to go to a room and listen to it together.
And Minnesota fans should probably listen to, because Nate inserted in you guys every start of his career. So
he inserted in a few people. BD, Nate, Stanley. That's about it. We just went. Dude, how fast does 26 minutes go?
Oh, we're done?
What else? What else is there to talk about? What
I don't
else?
know. I wasn't done talking yet. My roommate just left. So listen to this, bro. Listen to this. Jared, shitty friend.
Okay.
So my buddy Kovac coming down for the next 5 days, something like that, like 4 or 5 days. And he was just in New Orleans. He flew down in New Orleans to hang out with one of his other best friends. They went to the national championship media days and everything, got blacked out on Bourbon Street.
Okay.
Now he's coming to Phoenix to visit me. Jared just flew out to Chicago to do some work conference or something.
Wow.
And yeah, he's missing his buddies. He's kind of, it's bullshit.
That's tough. No,
I cleared my schedule. That's called being a good friend.
Right. Probably hit Top Golf again, I'm sure. I don't know. There's not a whole lot else to talk about. I know that those 27 minutes went fast, but I wanted to hit NFL. We're kind of in the middle of the 4 games. 2 have done, 2 to go.
This next weekend, Conor McGregor, Donald Cerrone, UFC pay-per-view. I'm going to have McGregor. I think he's just going to be too strong, so you can bet that one with me.
Yeah. That should be exciting. McGregor he's a fan poll, and he draws the numbers. So
I think next weekend I'm gonna go. I don't know what the lines are gonna be, but I think I'm gonna take Niners cover regardless at home. I just think they're unbelievable at home.
Yep.
And we'll see what the AFC game is.
Here's how I think it plays out, and we'll leave it at this for the podcast. I think the Niners are going to be playing the Packers, and I think the Titans are going.
If it's Niners Packers, I think me and Pete are going to the game, and we're going to split an Airbnb.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Niners Packers, and I'll also take the Niners to cover, and I think it's going to be Titans Chiefs, and I'll take the Chiefs over the Titans in that one. And I think that George Kittle and Ben Neiman are going to meet in the Super Bowl. And Hitch are going to Siege. I think they're going to meet in the Super Bowl, and
I think our guy Ross is going to go get to go to the Super Bowl.
Ross, we need to get on the podcast once they're done as well. A lot of exciting things. There's so many Hawks in the playoffs. One thing to mention quickly is Yanda may have played his last game yesterday.
Maybe. Still an all-pro, though. Who retires as an all-pro? Maybe Yanda because he's the GOAT.
Talk about the true old bull. He is the old bull.
5 years, he's going to have a gold jacket, which is pretty cool. So
yeah,
maybe he just goes out like this, but maybe he says, dude, Lamar is this special and this team is this special, and I'm still an all-pro, so let's just keep rolling.
Right.
He's going to come to the offseason, get that work in with Doyle.
He works on his body a lot.
He's going to make Russ come back to the complex to work on him.
Jesus.
And, we're going to have this guy back good as new, like he's 27 years old again.
We'll see. I'd love to have his retirement account. I know that. Yeah, that's a lot. It's just a lot of Hawkeye action. The other thing that happened that we didn't touch on, we'll touch on quickly, is I don't know. I tweeted about it on Twitter. At Iowa basketball, you might as well. It's like just flip a coin. They're beat to hell. Attrition, injuries, sickness, everything has happened to this team. And all of a sudden they drop a tough one to Nebraska. And then all of a sudden they come back and beat number 12 Maryland.
And Joe puts 30 in their eyeball.
And Joe Wieskamp and Luka Garza is one of the best 1-2 punches in the country. And so they're fun to watch. Can't wait to have those guys on the podcast when they're done with their playing career. But Iowa basketball is exciting. Go watch Iowa basketball if you can get to Carver this season, and go watch Iowa wrestling because that's about to ramp the hell up too. I know that.
They're going to the national championship, man, and they're trying to win that son of a bitch.
That was episode 80. Now, when you hear episode 81 on Thursday in a couple days, don't be confused when we open it up. It's not Drake's fault; it's my fault. He's going to tell you.
Still laugh at the intro because it was funny.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird intro saying episode 80 again, but that's it. Another Drake and Tyler show, another washed up walk-ons. Thanks for listening on this Monday. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Enjoy that national championship game tonight. And just Hawks by a million. That's all it is.
Go Tigers. Go Hawkeyes.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.